All right, so we're diving into DePIN today.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people are especially interested in DeGEN, decentralized energy, It's really getting some attention. And the numbers, honestly, they're kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, right? It's all about this idea of connecting the physical world to the blockchain, So we're talking about managing real-world assets like energy grids, but doing it in a decentralized way. And 2024, it just exploded. Market cap just surged like crazy, 132% year over year. It hit over $40 billion.
That's wild. So what's driving that?
Yeah.
Especially in the DeGEN space.
Well, I think DeGen's really hitting on something big. It's about the clean energy transition, right? Everyone's talking about that. The sector was valued at over $21 trillion in 2024. So it's attracting a ton of investment because it offers a way to, really accelerate how fast we can deploy renewable energy infrastructure. Think about it. We need to triple renewable energy capacity if we want to meet global climate goals. Yeah. And that takes a lot of investment. We need to jump from like $500 billion to $1 trillion in investments annually, and then up to $1.9 trillion. It's huge.
Yeah.
And DePIN could be, the key to making that happen, making it more efficient.
So this is hype, more than just hype, right? There's real potential here.
Yeah, definitely.
But what about specific projects? Are there any that really show this potential?
Oh, absolutely. There are some really cool projects coming out. Like take Glow, for example. Yeah. They're actually deploying these megawatt scale solar farms across India. They've already pulled in over $25 million in revenue just in 2024. And they're projecting to hit hundreds of millions in 2025. So you can really see how fast these DeGEN projects can scale and become profitable too.
That's impressive. What about, I've heard about Daylight Energy. They're doing some interesting stuff with like Tick Tree community building.
Yeah, Daylight Energy is a great example of how DePIN can use, the power of the community, right? Their DER coordination network. It's like a network of all these, rooftop solar panels, batteries, even electric vehicles, all working together. And it's seen amazing growth. They're averaging 4 networking referrals per user and a 400% month-over-month growth rate.
That's incredible. And these aren't like small projects, are they? This is real infrastructure.
No, you're totally right. These projects are getting serious funding. Like Daylight got $9 million in Series A funding. Fuse, or Project Zero, landed $12 million, led by Multicoin Capital. And Glow, they raised $30 million with USV and Framework Ventures leading that round. So there's serious investor confidence here, especially in DG.
So DBB, it's not just theoretical anymore, right? These projects are getting funded, they're building, they're making money. But what are some of the big challenges they're trying to solve in the energy sector?
Well, one of the biggest ones is how to expand solar energy capacity, right? DePIN projects like Glow are really going after that. And then there's building coordinated demand response programs. That's where, you get into DERs and VPPs.
Okay, wait, what are those? I love to get into the details, but maybe for, for listeners who are new to DePIN, could you break those down?
Sure. So imagine your neighborhood has its own little energy network, right? Everyone's sharing solar power from their rooftops. Right. That's kind of the idea behind DePIN. But on a much larger scale, DERs are those individual sources of energy, like solar panels, batteries, even electric cars. And a VPP, it's like a virtual power plant that can coordinate and manage all those DERs to provide, grid services.
DePIN helps connect all these different energy sources.
Yes.
And it makes the whole grid more efficient and resilient.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing. Are there other projects besides Glow and Daylight that are doing well?
Yeah, definitely. There's Project Zero. They're partnering with Fuse, which is a clean energy company in the UK. And they're planning to expand really quickly across Ireland, Spain, Eastern Europe, and Australia. They're aiming for 2025. And then there's Star Power Energy. They want to have over 13,000 smart plug DERs connected to their network globally within a year. It's a fast-growing space. There are tons of exciting projects out there.
So we've talked about DePIN in general and the Jane Keeving E. What's the big difference between DePIN and, just building more renewable energy?
It's
yeah.
We need the highways,
the
delivery systems to actually get that energy to people. Energy is mainly supply constrained, and DePIN focuses on building out the infrastructure, not just making more energy. Think of it this way. We could have all the renewable energy in the world, but if we can't get it to homes and businesses, it's not going to do much good.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So DePIN is about creating this more efficient and decentralized grid. But how does that translate to real-world impact? I know Masari made some big predictions.
Oh, yeah. They said that DePIN will build out something like $50 to $150 million in the supply-side infrastructure in 2025. But the really exciting part is they're predicting up to $500 million in inside sales. That means people and businesses will be buying and selling energy through these DePIN networks. It's like a whole new energy marketplace.
Wow, those numbers are huge, it sounds like. DePIN could really change the energy sector. But for the average person, what does this mean? How will DePIN actually change how we use energy every day?
That's where it gets really interesting. Imagine a future where you can easily buy and sell renewable energy from your neighbors, all powered by blockchain. Your home could be like a mini power plant, generating solar and giving it back to the grid. Or think about your electric car, not just getting you around, but also storing energy and selling it back when demand is high.
That sounds pretty amazing. It's like taking the power back from those big utility companies and giving it to individuals. But let's be real, there are going to be some challenges, right? DePIN is still pretty new.
Oh, for sure. Integrating DePIN into the current energy systems, it's not going to be simple. There are regulations to figure out, technical stuff to work through, and we need to make sure these decentralized networks are secure and reliable. But the potential benefits are so big. I think we'll see a ton of innovation and investment in this space.
You mentioned security. Isn't that one of the big worries with blockchain? Hacks and vulnerabilities. How can we be sure these DePIN networks will be safe and reliable?
That's a good point. Security is super important in anything that manages critical infrastructure, especially energy. Developers are working on creating really strong security protocols and safeguards to protect DePIN networks from attacks. And there are exciting new things happening in cryptography and blockchain tech that are making things more secure all the time.
So it sounds like DePIN has the potential to completely change how we produce, distribute, and use energy. But it's early days.
Yeah.
And there are challenges to overcome.
Exactly. But things are moving, and the potential impact is huge, I really believe. DePIN can accelerate the clean energy transition and create a more sustainable and equitable energy future for everyone.
It sounds like a real energy revolution. But like you said, there are hurdles. What should we be watching for in the DePIN space moving forward?
Well, keep an eye on the regulations, governments and regulators. They're starting to notice DePIN, and how they decide to regulate it will have a big impact on how it grows.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've seen how regulations can either help or hurt innovation. Anything else to watch out for?
Interoperability standards are important. Right now, a lot of these DePIN projects, they're kind of in their own bubbles. But for DePIN to really take off, we need to see them work together smoothly.
So it's not just about individual projects, it's about building a whole connected ecosystem.
Exactly. We need common protocols and standards so these different networks can talk to each other and share data safely. That's how we'll get a more efficient and decentralized grid.
This has been a fascinating look at DePIN and DeGEN. It seems like this technology could really change the energy landscape. But it's important to remember the challenges too. So as we wrap up, what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to leave with?
I think the key thing to remember is that DePIN is more than just technology. It's a whole new way of thinking about energy. It's about giving individuals and communities the power to control their own energy future. And even though there are challenges, the potential benefits are huge. So stay curious, stay informed, and be a part of this exciting revolution.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into DePIN and the DeGEN. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.